All right, welcome to the Church Dropout podcast. My name is Alan. I'm the host. I'm joined by
Lisa.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Church Dropout is a podcast. We talk about issues, topics, and teachings related to faith, life, and culture, ways that are sometimes funny, sometimes serious, but always insightful. If you have not already, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast at. So, a few days ago or yesterday, depending on when we released this particular video, Israel was bombed again. They were bombed in retaliation, really, by Iran. And, this has been going on a while. Israel and the Hamas war has been going on for a little while. And now Iran is jumping into the war. And, obviously, as Christians, paying attention to the signs of the times and what's happening within the world, have a lot of opinions on why this war, why these wars are taking place. And, Jesus does tell us that we should, be aware, right? That we should, look for signs of what's happening. And then, depending on what, big word here, but what dispensational view or what eschatological perspective you hold will determine how you process the events of the war, right? Is this, part of prophecy being, fulfilled and all of that good stuff, but, I'm not a theologian or a expert when it comes to eschatology.
You sure sound like one.
No, just know the words, don't know what they mean. But yeah, I'm not, definitely not a theologian when it comes to that type of stuff, and I know people are trying to figure out, like, what does this mean?
Right.
How do we respond to this, right? Where's God in all of this? I mean, whose side is he on? And, is this, again, part of prophecy with Israel and all of those type things. And I think it's complicated, right? And hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And all we could do is study scripture, look at the world, and kind of take it from there. But one thing I do just want to say really quickly, I don't plan on being long here on this at all, but one thing I do want to say about this is, to me, this war, or war in general, in a very practical sense, to me, reveals more about who we are as humans and people, and how much we need Jesus. And the reason why I say that is that, we believe that the pathway to peace, or the only pathway to peace, is by war, right? That peace comes through power, you know what I mean? Being utilized and used. And it's just interesting over the time that we have been here on earth as people, generations past, it just seems like we just still haven't learned, right? That peace doesn't come through war. You know what I mean? And again, I understand that there may be a lot of, end times prophecy and different things. I think we can't know the mind of God when it comes to stuff like that. Again, we pay attention to the signs, but one thing, a very practical thing I think we can look at is what does it say about us? And as we're looking at people comment on this, even if you hold a view that is for Israel in terms of God not being done with Israel, how we hold those views matter. There's still loss of life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's individuals who love Jesus that are in Israel. I mean, in Israel, obviously, and Iran and all these other places as well. And a lot of lives are being lost as a result of it, But the overarching thing for me is that, wherever you stand on the war, wherever you stand with this particular situation, one very practical thing, in my opinion, is that, we still believe that things can be, that peace can come through power, and that we can, exercise force and bring the kingdom in. And if God hasn't demonstrated that in Jesus, that, who is all powerful, lays down his life and gives his life, and creates a pathway to peace with his own life, and then in turn tells his disciples to love enemies, to not repay evil with evil. I think the pathway that Christ would have us take is one of peace. I'm talking about the kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the nation. I'm talking about the kingdom. And so I don't know, I just been really thinking about how should Christians respond to this. Obviously, pray.
Definitely.
Be aware. Study your scripture. But do the practical thing. Do what's clear in scripture.
Right.
Which is to love.
Yeah.
And to seek peace. And to demonstrate what biblical reconciliation looks like and what the love of Christ looks like, especially in difficult times like this. So anyway, just wanted to kind of share that and go from there. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. It actually makes me think, because I find myself, I know what's going on, as far as I know something's going on, but I don't know exactly what's going on. And thank you for, helping me to see that I need to know what's going on. I need to know what the scripture says about this and what we should be doing as Christians.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I think we're all in that space, to be honest with you. There's so much going on, so much happening. I think people feel overwhelmed by everything that's taking place, and how do I process this? What do I do?
And I don't want to get stuck in that America thought where you're just, well, I'm in America, so I'm good. Man. You know what I mean? And instead of that, no, this is a world issue.
Yeah.
So that includes me.
Absolutely. And as Christians, we are called to serve humanity, and that's not realized by borders or separated by borders. But I think there is some cognitive dissonance in terms of, Americans just kind of being, hey, that's not on our soil. It's not what's going on. Or on the other side of that, very honestly, I think some people are just overwhelmed by it, and just don't know what to say or what to do.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I feel that way at times as well. But again, for me, let's look at the practical things here. Let's do everything that the scripture tells us to do as far as looking at the signs of the times, understanding what it means for Christ, his imminent return, all of that good stuff. There's a lot of opinions there. There's a lot of mystery there that goes into those things. But the one thing I know we can do as Christians is seek the welfare of the city, seek peace, and ensure that we are being representatives and ambassadors of Christ, regardless of where people may stand theologically or eschatologically. We can step into the work and the love of Christ and do that work. We should be paying attention to what's happening. Like I said, we have brothers and sisters who are being affected by this, but we need to be engaged.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And, sometimes we're distracted by all this entertainment and all these things and just life in general. So, we don't want to put guilt on us, but as Christians, we should be aware.
Yes.
We should be aware. So, but that's it. Hope that was helpful to you. Wasn't so many words that were said on it, but wanted to give some perspective on it. Love to hear your thoughts as usual. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and drop a comment below. Keep the conversation moving forward. And as I said before, we can definitely just pray.
Yes.
We can definitely ask God to move, and then we can give resources wherever that's available. And then we can engage by understanding how God will want us to respond by the plain things that we see in Scripture to be Christ's light in the world, not only for those Christians, but Christians here. And then I said I was done, but and then watch how we talk about this stuff online. There's people who are suffering behind it while we're trying to get our theological points out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're arguing over theology
Yeah.
when there's loss of life.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm not saying that that's not important. I'm just saying that we skip the practical things
Yeah.
for the deeper things. The practical thing is to love your neighbor
Yes.
and to love those whom are considered enemies. So no matter where you fall, you definitely fall within that realm.
Yes.
People fall within that realm. All people fall within that realm. So, but that's it. Like I said, thank you guys for tuning in to the Church Dropout, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. One question.
Sure.
What's eschatological?
Eschatological?
Yes.
Yeah, just end times.
End times.
Eschatology is just a study of end times.
Eschatological.
Yeah, well, that's a form of saying eschatology, but an eschatological perspective. Yeah,
Okay.
It's just end times, the study of end times.
All right. Got it.
All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in to Church Dropout. We'll talk to you soon. God bless you.
Good night.